with no seed secondary school. And Madam Speaker, works have already started on a number of these schools. And because there are no schools, you find that communities have started some kind of schools, but our children keep dropping out, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I support that we support this budget so that construction continues, and as we end the academic year, in the next academic year, our children find rooms where to study. Madam Speaker, I also want to support the supplementary budget for roads, Kampala roads. Madam Speaker, if you go to the outskirts of Kampala, many Ugandans have struggled to put up buildings, residential and commercial, but you find no tenants in them, merely because there are no good roads. You know very well that when there are good roads, it attracts investment, it attracts tenants. Madam Speaker, I want to support. Madam Speaker, however, I want to also say that Ugandans out there are waiting to hear from government come up with a budget to support farmers who are going through difficult times now. Most of these farmers had savings groups, and now they've eaten up their savings, and the prices have gone up, the markets have not been open, they have nowhere to sell their produce, therefore they can't afford hose, they can't afford pangas, they can't afford a lot of seeds. Madam Speaker, how I would have loved that this supplementary comes with an allocation to cater for our farmers. Madam Speaker, I want to raise my case.
Okay, I invited Mawanda, but I shall want the chair of Budget Committee to confirm that all these funds were unavoidable, the unforeseen, and absorbable. Let's hear from Mawanda, then you come.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise support the bill, Madam Chair. However, I have one serious concern, Madam Chair. The committee in Vote 008, Minister of Finance, has come out properly to show how privatization unit has outlived its usefulness, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there are very many government agencies that have outlived their usefulness, and the taxpayer is still meeting the expenses of running those institutions. One of them is PU, there is also NPAT, and also custodian bond. Madam Speaker, for the last 4 years, our Committee of Natural Resources has been making a recommendation that the Minister repeals PAD Act. But the moment they achieve what they want, they go home and sleep. Madam Speaker, I would like to put you on notice that next week I will be bringing a private member's bill to introduce a private member's bill to repeal the PAD Act so that the government or the taxpayers can be able to save, that can save the wastage that is being spent on these sectors. I thank you, my right honourable Speaker.
Madam Speaker, members have been talking about whether the supplementary expenditure is unavoidable and foreseeable and observable. Now, this comes from in the regulations to the Public Finance Management Act, Regulation 18.5, 6, and 7 of the Public Finance Management Regulations 2016 provide as follows, and it is on page 3. Parliament may approve a supplementary appropriation, or the Minister may approve a supplementary budget, as the case may be, where the supplementary expenditure is unavoidable or unforeseeable. Now, under this provision, the supplementary request is only required to satisfy only one of those two conditions. Remember that this regulation was reviewed by the Minister. The issue of whether the expenditure is absorbable was removed. And we only have these two. And it is either one or the other. Most of these expenditures that we are talking about were unavoidable. And I can explain. Take, for instance, what Honorable Mawanda was talking about. You know, we noted that the government had committed itself to pay salaries to the workers under the privatization unit. Whereas we have recommended the repealing of the PAD statute, we are saying that we already have an existing commitment to pay the wages of those people that have been with the privatization unit since February, I think it is since February to June this financial year. That's a commitment we cannot run away from. Number two, when you talk about KCCA, we did indicate that the budget for KCCA, the indicative figures have ordinarily been 30.5 billion for road maintenance. Now, instead of being given 30.5, they get 22.3 billion, which was a huge shortfall. And now the Minister of Finance is saying, let's bridge the gap by providing for that shortfall. And that is the 10 billion we are talking about. And we must be looking at those roads that are currently being maintained. The Queen's Way, Chitante Road here, is it Yusuf Rure Road? They are all being rehabilitated. And allow me please to finish my submission. On the Uganda Industrial Research Institute, Madam Speaker, I think members need to visit the Uganda Industrial Research Institute. And you really appreciate what the Chinese government has given to the government of Uganda. We have not had such a facility before in this country. A facility that can produce machines which other enterprises can use to produce other products. That's a machining center. They also produce spare parts. Hitherto we have been importing spare parts of various factories in this country. This plant here has come to solve that problem. And you cannot have serious industrialization without such a plant. Now, Madam Speaker, the Chinese granted to this government $30 million, almost equivalent to 110 billion shillings. And during the visit, one of the members, actually from the opposition, commented, and he said if this was to be put up from Ugandan funds, it would cost more than $1 trillion shillings. In fact, he was appreciating what was on the ground. It's a huge facility. And the Chinese completed this in record time before the contract period elapsed. And now, the institute does not have operational funds to start operating the plant. Everything is ready, you know, including capacity to produce these masks of the quality that I'm wearing. You know, so the plant is actually ready, Madam Speaker. All they need is this 10 billion to become operational. It is providing two opportunities for this government. Number one, as a training institute with modern technology. Number two, it is a facility to produce goods and services for this country. The idea of laying off workers, I'm not aware of. We did not find this there. In fact, they want to recruit more people. That's what they want to do. I don't know where that information came from, that they want to retire some workers. I don't know, because it's a government entity, it's not a private entity. They cannot just lay off workers like that. So, Madam Speaker, then on this, on the seed schools and the upgrading of health center 2s to 3s, a number of districts are benefiting from this project. It's a World Bank funded project, which is already underway in various districts. These resources are additional resources to complete this work from different levels in different districts. And then, Madam Speaker, so I want to submit that this expenditure that we are talking about here, we actually picked from a larger schedule and felt that these could not be avoided. I beg to submit.
Okay, thank you. Fane, wena umigade?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I think what the chair of the committee should agree with us is that we are not against what is being done in the different facilities, but we are only trying to teach them what the right procedure should be. What is happening here is either poor planning or over planning. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I'm a member of the Committee on National Economy. And last week, actually about 2 weeks ago, we toured Kampala. And we have a loan before us. One is $224 million US from the African Development Bank. And the second is $51 million US still from the African Development Bank. And the purpose is to rehabilitate roads in Kampala. And we were driven around Kampala, even in the outskirts, in the same bus with the executive director and the minister of Kampala. And it is the same road to indicate that when we get money, we shall do here, 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 and there. Now, while we are in the committee trying to work on this loan very fast so that we process it because they told us it is urgent, we are here saying supplementaries. Madam Speaker, what should be coming at this time? We want supplementaries. For example, this year, NADS was not able to distribute seed in the different parts of the country. We are now in the shortage of beans, even what OPM is distributing is actually beans are coming from as far as Malawi because we have a shortage here. So we should be seeing supplementaries here for seed so that really we help our people so that they can contribute to the economy. Otherwise, these supplementaries like KCCA roads towards the end of the financial year. This is not the best practice, and I think we shall not be too late if we are to wait for 1 month so that they can utilize those same funds in the next financial year. Thank you very much, my Honourable Speaker.
Now, I don't know, I want to know whether that loan covers the same roads which are here, Upper Colorado Terrace, Queensway, Wilson Road, Sikh Road, Channel Street, Johnson Road, Rubiri Ring Road, Sapporo Kagwa, Naguru Katai. Is the loan covering the same roads? Yes. Minister of Finance.
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I want to thank the chairperson of the Budget Committee and the members for the report, and to say that indeed the schedulers had a number of items, but they sieved out those that they thought could meet the standards of the law. And the loan that the Honorable Migadi is talking about other set of roads in Kampala. But also it's important to note that the 10 billion is going to do emergency work now in Kampala. And the Minister of Works is here, can even complement this, is going to do emergency works of Kampala. Also before the committee of National Economy, Honorable Migade should have informed the House that actually there are other resources that we are mobilizing to support the economy. And Madam Speaker has requested, we shall be coming here tomorrow or Thursday to talk about the economic response to the situation that we are in as you requested. So I think we should not mix the two things. This request was put to Parliament 2 months almost ago. You have been going through this process. For example, you have asked the issue of absorption. If we get this money, take privatization unit, can we spend the 3 billion People are waiting for salaries that have not been paid for the last 3 months or 4 months. So that will be paid. Okay, certificates of health centers and schools, people have been constructing. They are waiting for payment. So, Madam Speaker, as the chairperson has explained, and I think Honorable Onyarachi thinks it's important you listen, because I've not had you support anything from government for the last 1 year. But it is, and I'm not expecting it. Madam Speaker, this is very important. We should, I think, go ahead and support it. Thank you.
Order. Order, Right Honorable Speaker.
Okay, it's gone.
Right Honorable Speaker, the minister has made a statement that should be expunged from this parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, we live in a world where you cannot have a unipolar world where people think the same. That's the very reason why when you clash thesis against antithesis, you come out with the synthesis. That's the reason why America is under capitalism and China is under communism. Right Honorable Speaker, I've been on the floor of this parliament and participated in making laws for the benefit of this country. I don't know whether the country is run by another government. I have been in this parliament participating in the appropriation or budget. And that is a budget. To me, the Minister for Finance is the President. Actually, for you, you are acting under, that is what we call in law, delegated power that you are using. So we have passed budgets here, and the budget is the President's actually property. Right Honorable Speaker, is the Minister in order, without even bringing authentication, probably evidence, that I have never supported anything from government, anyway, as if I'm under obligation to always support his nugatory expenditures and the loan that he brings here, the Honorable Bahati. Therefore, is he in order to make such a statement and impute wrong motive on one of the best debaters in this parliament? Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Minister, can you substantiate what he has done the last 1 year for which you are taking exception?
Madam Speaker, Honorable Onyarachi, for the last, I think, 12 months, every time we bring here an issue, including the budget, if you go on the record of the House, you could see what he has been saying. And I think what I'm saying, I mean it. We can get the answer tomorrow to audit it and see whether Honorable Onyarachi has actually supported the House. The answer is there. The answer is there for the last 1 year. We can audit it.
Honourable members, I put the question that the motion be adopted. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. Committee stage.
Committee of Supply. Vote 008.
Honourable members. The question is that the total sum of Uganda shillings 1,090,845,255 be provided for. Question is that the total sum of Uganda shillings 1,090,845,255 be provided for. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 110, Uganda Industrial Research Institute.
Honourable members, the question is that the total sum of Uganda shillings 10 billion we provided for Uganda Industrial Research Institute. Put the question that total sum of Uganda shillings 10 billion be provided for. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 120, Kampala Capital City Authority.
Members, I put the question the total sum of Uganda shillings 10 billion be provided for in favor of Kampala Capital City Authority. Put the question that Uganda shillings 10 billion be provided for Kampala Capital City Authority. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 018, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development.
Honourable members, the question is that the total sum of Uganda shillings 2,402,960,000 be provided for Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. And now put the question 960,000 be provided for under Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Let's have it.
Vote 532, Luweero District.
There's a problem here. Why is this different from this? There's a problem. You go to Mitoma, I'll just sort out where. There's an error.
Just submitted the zero here, but they are here.
Okay, on the members, the question is that the total sum of Uganda shillings 552,581,000 be provided for Luweero District. Those in, I put the question, the total sum of Uganda shillings 552,581,000 be provided for Luweero District. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Solve it.
Vote 601, Mitoma District.
Now, members, I put the question, the total sum of Uganda shillings 77,580,000 be provided for under Mitoma District. I put the question, the total sum of Uganda shillings 77,580,000 be provided for Mitoma District. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 530, Kyenjojo District.
I put the question, the total sum of Uganda shillings 145,887,000 for Kyenjojo District be provided for. Put the question that the total sum of Uganda shillings 145,887,000 for Kyenjojo District be provided for. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 502, Apache District.
Put the question, the total sum of Uganda shillings 385 million be provided for Apache District. And I put the question, the total sum of Uganda shillings 385 million provided for Apache District. What's happened to this? Apache District 385 million, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 507, Busia District.
And members, the question is that the total sum of Uganda shillings 76,552,158 be provided for Busia District. And now put the question, total sum of Uganda shillings 76,552,158 be provided for Busia District. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 519, Kanungu District.
Now, members, the question is that the total sum of Uganda shillings 1,032,597,963 be provided for Kanungu District. And I put the question, total sum of Uganda shillings 1,032,597,963 be provided for Kanungu District. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 522, Katakwi District.
Honourable members, I put the question that sum of Uganda shillings 28,906,128 be provided for Katakwi district. And I put the question that sum of 28,906,128 million be provided for under Katakwi district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 530, Chenjojo district.
Honourable members, the question that the sum of 23,699,882 be provided for Chenjojo district. And I put the question total sum of Uganda shillings 23,699,882 be provided for Chenjojo district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 534, Masindi district.
Honourable members, I put the question. Oh, what's happening? Total sum of Uganda shillings 87,079,797 be provided for Masindi district. And I put the question, the sum of Uganda shillings 87,079,797 be provided for Masindi district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 539, Moyo district.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of Uganda shillings 27,717,336 be provided for Moyo district. And I put the question that the sum of 27,717,336 be provided for Moyo district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 556, Yumbe district.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of 511,502,916 be provided for Yumbe district. And I put the question, the sum of Uganda shillings 511,502,906 be provided for Yumbe district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 568, Mitiana district.
Honourable members, I put the question that the sum of 4,735,075 be provided for Mitiana district. I put the question that the sum of Uganda shillings 4,735,075 be provided for Mitiana district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 572, Oyam district.
Honourable members, the question that the total sum of 724,371,745 be provided for Oyam district. And I put the question, total sum of Uganda shillings 724,371,745 be provided for Oyam district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 581, Amdat district.
Members, I put the question, the total sum of Uganda shillings 426,700,000 be provided for Amudat district. Honourable members, I put the question that total sum of Uganda shillings 426,700,000 be provided for Amudat district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 584, Chegegwa district.
Honourable members, the question is that the sum of Uganda shillings 370,786,630 for Chegegwa district. I put the question, total sum of Uganda shillings 370,786,630 be provided for Chegegwa district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 585, Lamuo district.
Honourable members, the question that the sum of Uganda shillings 803,314,400 be provided for Lamuo district. And I put the question, total sum of Uganda shillings 803,314,400 be provided for Lamuo district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 586, Otuke district.
Honourable members, I put the question, the sum of 262 million be provided for Otuke district. The question is that total sum of Uganda shillings 262 million be provided for Otuke district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 588, Aleptong district.
Honourable members, the question is that the total sum of Uganda shillings 1,159,796,376 be provided for Aleptong district. And I put the question, total sum of Uganda shillings 1,159,796,376 be provided for Aleptong district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 596, Serere district.
Honourable members, the question that the sum of Uganda shillings 132,252,147 Sorede district be provided for. And I put the question that the sum of Uganda shillings 132,252,147 be provided for Sorede district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 598, Kalungu district.
Honourable members, the question that the sum of Uganda shillings 124,471,186 be provided for Kalungu district. And I put the question total sum of Uganda shillings 124,471,186 be provided for Kalungu district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 604, Napak district.
Members, the question that the total sum of Uganda shillings 215,381,065 be provided for Napak district. And I put the question the sum of Uganda shillings 215,381,065 be provided for Napak district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 605, Chibuku district.
Put the question the total sum of Uganda shillings 229,700,000 be provided for Chibuku district. And I put the question the total sum of Uganda shillings 229,700,000 be provided for Chibuku district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 610, Buhweju district.
Now, members, I put the question that total sum of Uganda shillings 723,337,228 be provided for Buhweju district. And I put the question that total sum of Uganda shillings 723,337,228 be provided for Buhweju district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 613, Kagadi district.
Honourable members, I put the question the total sum of Uganda shillings 729,700,000 be provided for Kagadi district. And I put the question total sum of Uganda shillings 729,700,000 be provided for Kagadi district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 616, Rwanda district.
Honourable members, I put the question the total sum of Uganda shillings 718,871,031 be provided for Rwanda district. And I put the question total sum of Uganda shillings 718,871,030 be provided for Rwanda district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 625, Kasanda district.
Honourable members, the question the total sum of Uganda shillings 65,400,000 be provided for Kasanda district. And I put the question total sum of Uganda shillings 65,400,000 be provided for Kasanda district. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Vote 786, Mubende municipality.
Honourable members, I put the question the total sum of Uganda shillings 198,824,514 be provided for Mubende municipality. And I put the question the sum of Uganda shillings 198,824,514 be provided for Mubende municipality. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. Honourable members, and I put the question the total sum of Uganda shillings 9,172,713,255 be provided for as recurrent expenditure. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it. I put the question total sum of Uganda shillings 24,159,837,577 be provided for as development expenditure. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. And I put the question total sum of Uganda shillings 33,332,550,832 be provided for. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House do resume and the Committee of the Supply reports thereto.
Members, the question is that the House do resume and the Committee of the whole House do report thereto. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Report from the Committee of Supply.
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to report that the Committee of Supply has approved the supplemental expenditure schedule number 2, addendum 2A and addendum 3 for financial 2019-20 without amendments.
Motion for adoption of the report from the Committee of Supply.
Motion for adoption, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report from the Committee of Supply be adopted.
Honourable members, the question is that the report of the Committee of Supply be adopted. Those in favour say aye, the contrary no. Let's have it. Item 3.
Item 3 on the order paper, Bill second reading, the National Payment Systems Bill 2019.
Where is the Minister? The mover?
Madam Speaker and honorable colleague, I beg to move that the bill entitled the National Payment Systems Bill 2019 be read the second time.
Is it seconded? Seconded. Justification?
Madam Speaker, the object of the bill is to regulate payment systems, to provide for safety and efficiency of payment systems, to provide for the functions of the central bank in relation to payment systems, to prescribe the rules governing the oversight and protection of payment systems, to provide for financial collateral arrangements, and to regulate payment service providers in the country. Currently, there is no comprehensive payment system law by the central bank which regulates things like the gross settlement systems, EFTs, mobile money transfers, and the rest. So this particular bill, this particular law comes in to bridge those gaps that have been in our laws that can regulate this emerging market of payments like the mobile money, the EFTs, the gross settlement system, RTGSs, and also emerging digital payment systems in the country. I beg to move, Madam Speaker.
Minister, I know we had moved the second reading, but I have here the Honorable Ariek, who has an issue that the school, her school and health center are left out of the supplementary, yet they had applied. That is Kole District Local Government, upgrade of Ayer Health Center 2 and 3, Health Center 2 to Health Center 3, and then the construction of Okwere Dot Seed Secondary School. They do not appear in your supplementary, and yet the work has partially been done.
It has already started. Yeah.
So I don't know how we can assist the people from Kole. Honorable Udogorobi?
Madam Speaker, we got an explanation from Minister of Finance saying that there was an earlier release within the 3% limit for certain districts. And what I read here are the districts that are coming for prior approval of Parliament. So it is possible that it is within that earlier list that finance that already paid out. We need to verify that.
Can the Minister please assist the Kole MPs? Maybe she could hand him that document. Give the Minister.
Madam Speaker, we are going to work with the honorable member from Kole and see that that issue is resolved within our means. But as I said, as the honorable chair said, there are some schools that we handled under the 3%. This is coming for prior approval by Parliament. It's most likely that that school, if it had an issue, it was captured then. But if it didn't, we are going to see what to do, Madam Speaker, and we shall inform your office.
Okay, thank you. Can I now invite the chair to give a report?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development considered the bill entitled the National Payment Systems Bill 2019 and made observations as follows. 1. Currently, there is no comprehensive payment system law in Uganda. Bank of Uganda relies on Article 162(1) of the Constitution, which provides that Bank of Uganda shall encourage and promote economic development through effective and efficient operations of the banking and credit system to develop the payment and security settlement systems. Such payment systems include the real-time gross settlement systems, RTGS, for the interbank transfer, the automated clearinghouse system for the clearance of checks, and the electronic fund transfer, EFT. The security settlement systems, including the Central Depository System operated by Uganda Securities Exchange, have not been implemented. 2. Due to the absence of the National Payment Systems Law, there is uncertainty in the market with regard to licensing of payment system service providers who are not financial institutions. As such, there is limited regulation and oversight of payment systems and inadequate protection of payment and security settlement systems. 3. Uganda's economy is growing and developing steadily, which has seen a shift from traditional payment systems to the evolution of new systems such as electronic and mobile money. There exists a vacuum in certain aspects such as licensing, regulation, and supervision of the providers of the emerging payment systems, thus posing a danger to users of the payment systems. There is need for a legal framework to regulate, govern, and oversee these emerging payment systems. Regulation of mobile money and other financial services offered over communication platforms in the communication sector is guided by the Mobile Money Guidelines and select provisions under the Uganda Communications Act 2013 on provision of value for money services. The current legal regime is, however, weak and does not sufficiently address all the issues regarding digital financial services. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, the broad legal framework for financial sector does not cover non-financial institutions like MTN, Airtel, Uganda Telecom, Payway, SafeBorder, and Uber that provide payment systems. This bill will address the regulatory gaps that have affected users of these payment systems for some time. 5. The bill seeks to regulate the issuance of electronic money and electronic money transfer, including the requirement for establishment of a subsidiary legal entity for purposes of issuing electronic money, management of trust accounts for electronic money issuers, protection of the trust and special accounts, accrual of interest in the trust accounts directly to the consumers, and provision for pecuniary and custodial sanctions for the breach of the law. This will enhance protection of the consumers who use these services. 6. The interpretation clause defines a payment system as a system used to effect a transaction through the transfer of money value and includes institutions, payment instruments, person, rules, procedures, standards, and technologies that make the transfer possible. This definition is too wide as it attempts to define operators, users, and those who interact with the payment system as payment systems themselves. Some of these institutions are again separately defined in the bill either as the payment service providers, payment system operators, and participants. This double definition is likely to create confusion in concisely defining what a payment system is. Under Clause 6 of the bill, the categories of payment systems are clearly stipulated. The definition of payment systems should be harmonized with Clause 6 to facilitate ease of enforceability once the law is enacted. 7. The bill, in its current form, does not cater for fair competition and does not provide for prohibition of anti-competitive behavior. There is need for provisions that provide for promotion of fair competition in the sector. This will ensure that operators do not engage in activities which have or are intended or are likely to have the effect of unfairly preventing or distorting competition in relation to any activity relating to payment systems. They will protect small players in the industry, especially financial technology companies, which are mainly owned by youth against the dominant players in the market. 8. Under Clause 13(1)(h), entry into insolvency proceedings is part of the circumstances under which the central bank may revoke or suspend a license. Insolvency proceedings include those where a financially stressed company is permitted under the law to continue operating business, and this should not lead to revocation of a license. Under the Insolvency Act 2011, insolvency proceedings include bankruptcy and arrangement for individuals, receivership, administration, and liquidation for corporate entities. Administration, being a corporate rescue mechanism, means that the company still has a chance to survive the financial challenges and return to trading profitability. On the other hand, liquidation results in the company being dissolved, ceasing trading. Therefore, revocation of a license should be limited to a participant who goes into liquidation. The bill provides that an electronic money issuer shall issue electronic money only after an equivalent is deposited in the trust account or special account opened in accordance with this act. The money in the trust account is invested by the financial institutions and earns interest. The interest earned on the trust account or special account shall be credited to an account opened for the purpose in the financial institution in which the trust account of the special account is held, and shall be distributed to the benefit of consumers as determined by the central bank. Clause 68 of the bill requires all payment service providers or a payment system operator to establish and maintain a primary data center in relation to payment system service providers in Uganda. However, the provision requires all payment service providers or a payment system operator to have a primary data center in Uganda, yet they don't hold consumer accounts. Only electronic money issuers hold accounts of customers, and this data should be available to the central bank in case the companies go into liquidation. Therefore, only electronic money issuers should be required to establish and maintain a primary data center in Uganda. Madam Speaker, the committee, with these observations, recommends that the National Payment Systems Bill 2019 be passed into law, subject to proposed amendments. I beg to move, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair.
Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the copy of the original committee report together with the other documents we used in scrutinizing the bill.
Now, members, you have heard the report. It has been signed by the necessary minimum numbers. Are we in a position to use the next 25 minutes to debate tomorrow? We discuss tomorrow? Okay, now, I don't know whether the ministers were ready to answer some questions. There were some questions which are outstanding. Minister of Works, I don't know whether you're ready with, there are some 3 questions pending for you. That's under item 5.
Item 5 on the order paper. Responses by ministers to issues raised on the stalled commissioning of the Siguru ferry that remains docked at Masese in Jinja district, yet it is critically required by its intended beneficiaries in Namayingo district. This was raised by Honorable Abbott George Ouma, Bukoli Islands County.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, this statement is presented in response to a matter raised by Honourable Ouma George Abbott, Member of Parliament for Bukoli Islands, on why MV Siguru has not commenced operations. Right Honourable Speaker, the Ministry, through its agency, the Uganda National Road Authority, has been developing the ferry project in 2 components, each with a different contractor. The ferry component and then the landing sites. The ferry is planned to connect Namayingo mainland to Siguru and Lorwe Islands on Lake Victoria through the Watega, Bumalenga and Kandege, where the ferry landing sites are now under construction. The ferry is a 300-seater equipped with the standard ship operating systems, passenger amenities, and certified to operate by the Maritime Administration. the ministry would like to update Parliament of Uganda that the actual completion of the MV Siguru was in early May 2020, after the contractor addressed all the snags raised during inspections, and the ferry has been handed over to UNRA. The implementation of the project for construction of the ferry landing site facilities and permanent ferry landings for MV Siguru is ongoing, and it is projected that this will be completed by June 2021. In order to have the ferry commence operations in the year 2020, we constructed temporary ferry landing sites at Watega and Bumarenga, which unfortunately have recently been affected by the flooding and the rising levels of the water of Lake Victoria. Our plan was that once the ferry is handed over, it would be transferred to Namayengo, which is now not possible due to the flooding of the ferry landing sites. Construction of the temporary ferry landings on the farthest end island of Lorwe at Kadenge was also awaiting ferry handover to use the ferry to transport construction equipment and some materials from the mainland, since the island is located very far. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to give assurance from the Ministry that we are mobilizing resources and operational funds for the ferry, part of which will come in Q1 of the financial year 2020-2021, in order to have the temporary ferry landing sites completed within 2 to 3 months, and then the ferry will commence operations next financial year. The Ministry would like to assure the House that the ferry project is significantly realized, and during its construction and testing, the district leaders have been invited on a number of occasions to visit the project, and we have also given them time to closely monitor what was happening. So for the remaining time and the issues, we hope that if the water recedes, we should be able to start operations by September 2021. I beg to submit.
2021?
Yes, 2020, sorry, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. Supplementary, Honourable Abbott.
Madam Speaker, I thank the Minister for that wonderful answer. But I think what I would say is that, Honourable Minister, there are 3 landing sites, and I'm really happy that Watega landing site is not affected by the floods or the water levels. It may only be Bumarenge. So what would be needed is to move, because I don't see the water affecting seriously all those landing sites. Just as you had promised the other time, it is necessary for you to move and see, because when we move up to, I was a little bit worried, Madam Speaker, when the Minister mentioned 2021. I think that would have killed all people of Single Islands. But since now he has rectified that by September 2020, let me give him a benefit of doubt, but I would need him to go and see himself so that he makes a clear report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Minister, 5A2. Then you have three items.
5.2, actions taken to enforce adherence to building standards and regulations on the numerous accidents occurring at building sites, status of compensation of affected families, and steps taken to stem the reoccurrence of such accidents, raised by Honourable Ralph Sheija.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, this statement is presented in response to a matter of concern raised by Honourable Margaret Ralph Sheija, workers' representative, concerning actions taken to enforce adherence to building standards and regulations on the numerous accidents occurring at the building sites, status of compensation of affected families, and steps taken to stem the recurrence of such accidents in the country. Right Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, the Building Control Act 2013, here too referred to as the Act, was enacted to 1. Consolidate, harmonize, amend the law relating to the erection of buildings. 2. Provide for building standards. 3. Establish a National Building Review Board and building committees. And 4. Promote and ensure planned, decent, and safe building structures that are developed in harmony with the environment and for other related matters. Following a lengthy process of developing the National Building Code as required under Section 46 of the Act commenced on April 2018. Right Honorable Speaker, Section 4 and 9 of the Act established the National Building Review Board to monitor building developments, to ensure that the design and construction of buildings and utilities to which the public is to have access cater for persons with disabilities, to oversee, inspect, and monitor the operations of the building committees, to prepare and submit to the Minister reports relating to any matter under this Act, as the Minister may require to hear and determine appeals from persons dissatisfied with the decisions of a building committee, to also determine the fees to be charged by urban and district building committees for approval of plans and issue of building permits and occupation permits. Right Honorable Speaker, Section 28 and 29 of the Act established building committees for every district and urban authority to scrutinize and approve building plans, to issue building permits and occupation permits, to ensure that the design and the construction of buildings and utilities to which the public is to have access cater for persons with disability, to review decisions on application for permits for minor building works submitted to a building control officer under Section 39, and to ensure that the Act is complied with. Section 32 and 33 of the Act establish the office of the building control officer in every district and urban authority to ensure that any instructions given by the building committee in accordance with the Act are complied with, and to inspect the erection and demolition of any building, among others. Right Honorable Speaker, the National Building Review Board is a regulator as spelled out in Section 9 of the Act. On the other hand, the districts and urban authorities to which the building committees and building control officer belong are charged with the responsibility to ensure compliance with the Act in their respective jurisdictions. In order to ensure implementation of the Act, a circular to all districts and urban authorities was issued by the Ministry of Local Government in November 2019. An example of an urban authority exercising a control is, I'll be posting it, laying it on table, is an example from Entebbe Municipal Council, which has been supervising the construction of the buildings at Civil Aviation Authority. And they have been very, very specific about that action. Right Honorable Speaker, following the increase in accidents on May 11, 2020, I issued a circular of instructions, number 1 of 2020, reminding all accounting officers at the district and urban authorities of their role under the Act. A copy of this, I'll be laying it on table. The governing board of the National Review Board was inaugurated on October 2nd, 2018, after which the process of setting up the secretariat responsible for the day-to-day activities commenced in April 2019. However, the National Building Review Board is not fully functional due to the following reasons. 1, the board requirements were not budgeted for during the financial year 2019-2020 due to limitations in the budget ceiling received by my ministry. The budget ceilings could not accommodate the requirements of the board in view of the many budget pressures the ministry was faced with. I thank my colleagues for appropriating funds for the board in the next financial year. Section 14 of the Act stipulates that the board secretariat shall have the executive secretary and other staff. In accordance with Section 17 of the Act, the board, with the help of my ministry, developed an appropriate structure to ensure effective implementation of the Act. However, when we sought clearance of the same by the Ministry of Public Service, the approval was deferred, pending finalization of the rationalization process which the ministry is undertaking. In the interim, the board secretariat has only 5 members of staff, seconded by my ministry, Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Uganda National Bureau of Standards, National Information Technology Authority, NITA, and Uganda Police. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, despite the above challenges, the board has undertaken the following actions since inauguration to enforce adherence to the building standards. Investigation of building-related accidents. Right Honorable Speaker, in accordance with Regulation 41(1)(e) of the Building Control Regulation 2020, the board constituted an investigation task force comprising of architects, engineers, lawyers, and health and safety experts, whose role is to investigate any failure or accidents at building sites and advise the board on the best solution to avoid reoccurrence of similar accidents. Below is a summary of findings arising out of the following accidents. A. Collapse of excavation sites at UK Mall, Plot 285, Block 254, Kansanga, Makindi Division, under KCCA on January 8, 2020, that killed 6 people. Right Honorable Speaker, the accident was caused by poor site excavation activities which left almost vertical slopes. These slopes greatly exceeded the angle at which the soils are stable. Yet, there was no sufficient slope protection provided. The report of the investigation, Right Honorable Speaker, is available, and I beg to lay it on the table. The second one is the collapse of a commercial building, Plot 53, Gokari Road, Gokari Street, Jinja Municipality, on January 15, 2020, that injured 8 people and killed 5. Right Honorable Speaker, the accident was caused by weak soils that were unable to support the weight of the building and the shear failure of 2 cross beams. The report also, Right Honorable Speaker, is here with laid on table entitled Investigation Report into the Collapse of a Commercial Building on Plot 53, Gokari Street, Jinja Municipality. I beg to read. The third was the collapse of a semi-permanent building in Nakabonge Village, Nakasongola District, on 16th November 2019, which injured 3 people and killed 4. Right Honorable Speaker, the accident was caused by a combination of runoff water and termite infestation of the building poles that led to the deterioration of the structure and weakening of the building poles. These 2 key causes, combined with the effect of strong wind experienced on that fateful day, resulted in the total collapse of the building. The report is also hereby laid on table. Right Honorable Speaker, investigations into the causes of the most recent accidents at the Gatehouse on Kitinda Kitubulu, Katabi, Wakso District, and the collapsed structure along Soweto Road in Kansanga, Makindye Division in Kampala are ongoing, and the reports will be issued in due course. We are encouraging, Right Honourable Speaker, we are encouraging the public to provide us with information relating to building operations in their communities by way of whistleblowing. I'm happy to report that a number of whistleblowers reports have been received, investigated, and interventions made. Most notable among them is the commercial development of Plot 1A and 1B, Block 530, Ham Mukasa Road in Mukono, that had developed cracks in the basement. Investigations revealed that the developer ignored the notes issued by the town clerk and proceeded to occupy the building. This led to the arrest of the developer and the project engineer. They have already appeared in court. In order to encourage more whistleblowers, a call center with a toll-free line is being set up. Prosecution of offenders. Right Honourable Speaker, following the conclusion of investigations and in line with Section 45 of the Act and Registration 42 of the Building Control Regulations 2020, we are working with the Uganda Police and Directorate of Public Prosecution to ensure prosecution of the offenders. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, in accordance with Section Regulation 42(2) of the Building Control Regulation, affected family members are entitled to compensation upon successful prosecution of the culprits. We shall work with the police to identify the affected families in order to make a case for their compensation. Right Honourable Speaker, in order to mitigate similar occurrences, below are our measures. A, we are strengthening the capacity of the National Building Review Board for efficient and effective service delivery. Effective implementation of the Building Control Act begins with the board. The board, with the support of NITA-U, is in advanced stages of developing a computerized building industry information system. This is envisaged to automate all building control activities countrywide to ease monitoring. On this, you will also be able to check the CVs of every architecture and every engineer who is involved in the building industry. The board will also be conducting regular building development monitoring and compliance audits of the building committees in the districts and urban centers. We'll augment the capacity of the local authorities to exercise effective building control through, among others, induction and training workshops to be conducted regionally. The board will also carry out sensitization and creation of public awareness. Right Honourable Speaker, in conclusion, my ministry is committed to fully operationalize and enforce the Building Control Act 2013, despite some challenges. In this regard, I shall require the support of my colleagues to disseminate the Act and educate the public on the requirement of the law. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I request for your support on these important measures to streamline the building industry. I beg to submit, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Is Honourable Shaija here? No. No, it was Honourable Shaija's question. Minister, I don't know how much time you need for the Kalangala issue, because we're approaching curfew time.
Right Honourable Speaker, I don't have a written response on the Kalangala issue. It came in late. I promise that I'll bring it tomorrow and be able to answer to the queries raised.
Okay.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, last week I raised an issue of national concern concerning the state of Namutumba, Budomba, Busole, Butaleja Road, and I've never got a response since then. And I thought that among the responses of the minister, maybe it would be one of them. May I get the communication from the minister since he's here.
Yes, Minister. Those have been a long-standing issue.
Right Honorable Speaker, I have a comprehensive report on the effects of rains on the national network. And I'm sure that that's one of them. But I've also been made to understand that UNRA has already started on that particular road. But we'll have a comprehensive report on how much the rains have impacted on our roads. But the good news is that this morning we had a meeting with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, and Minister of Finance has called us tomorrow morning to see whether they can mitigate in the present situation. But otherwise, the report is very comprehensive, looking at the whole country. But Kasese is in particular will require an emergency response.
Okay. So Namutumba Budumba would come in your comprehensive answer. Namutumba Budumba Road. Namutumba Budumba.
That one, I understand, UNRA is already on the road. So that one will be addressed, is being addressed.
So apparently UNRA is on site, according to the minister. Okay, Honorable Onek, I don't know how long your answer is. Kasese, Wundiwujo, and the rest of Uganda, because we're almost approaching curfew time. We'll give you tomorrow, because it's a very topical issue.
Right Honorable Speaker, the report will be lengthy, and definitely time is up for curfew. However, there were questions raised by some MPs which I thought I should quickly verbally mention them, like the case of the plight of this secondary school of students from Bududa. I answered that earlier. The accident at Muyembe, Nakapiripiri, Kapshora Road, that one has not been raised to us because it is police who handle accidents on the road. But if there is need for disaster to get involved, we are ready to look at it. And finally, displaced people on Lake Albert during the lockdown. The displacement is all over, around Lake Victoria, around Lake Kyoga, around Lake Albert, and in some instances, rivers having displaced so many people, and we lost lives. Those will be reported, Madam Speaker, when I'm presenting a comprehensive report on disaster. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Minister. So now, members, we have done quite a bit, but we need to break because of the absence of public transport and the curfew. So House adjourned tomorrow at 2 p.m.